Welcome back to my channel. This is Betty. Yes, it has been a while. I have been sick, and then my son is still sick, but at least I don't sound like a man so much anymore. I've got this piece of paper strategically placed there to try and cover the glare of my ring light. I've got my overhead light off, but I can't hardly see, so y'all are just gonna have to bear with the light, and I apologize for the glare because it's late at night when I'm doing this, but I promised you guys a video, so I am gonna do that. I'm just getting on here, and what we're gonna do tonight is just simply put together the main part of a journal. We will not decorate it tonight. We will do that maybe in tomorrow's video. I've done a poll to find out what videos you guys prefer the most, and I think I got a lot of I think the majority like to create with me, so we will do that tonight. I apologize, I should have already taken this out of the bag, and I just, you know, it's been one of those weeks. So the only thing I've done so far, I've cut my backs, my spine. These are 4.5 by 7, and this is 1.5 by 7. And so what I'm going to do, let me do this real quick. How I like to do it, I keep this little mat down under my table. And so I use that to line everything up with. And so I'm just using it to line that up right this minute. And then I'm going to find some washi tape. Let me see if I can move the camera back a little bit, because it looks like it may be too high for you guys. Hopefully that's better for you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. So I've lined it up right there, and I'm just going to put a little piece of washi just right here for right now, just to kind of hold it. And then I'm going to line this side up. And I'm just eyeballing it. I try to keep the same distance in the spine area. I do have a little, I do try to leave a little spot there so that it's easier when it's closing. And so I'm just going to do this right here, and hopefully nothing moved. And I'm just going to do it like that for just a minute. Okay, and now that I have it lined up, I'm just going to flip it over, make sure everything still looks good, and it does. And then I'm going to get this sticky stuff here. This is the Tyvek tape that I've told you guys about. Let's see if I can move this up. As you can tell, it's been a while since I've been in here, so like everything is out of kilter for me. So yeah, this is the Tyvek. I have it listed in my favorite products below, and this stuff is so sticky. Oh my goodness. But it helps with, this is what I use to bind my spine together. But because it is Tyvek, it helps, it gives the spine support, which is what I want. Something got stuck in there. I am not sure what that is, so we're probably going to have to put a couple pieces of Tyvek down because I just goobered that one up, but that's okay. That's what happens. Yeah, there was something, I felt a little lump in there, and I'm afraid that would come through in the final product, so I couldn't handle it. But yeah, the Tyvek though, it just gives some support to the spine, and because it is the Tyvek, it makes it a lot more sturdy for whenever I'm sewing the envelopes in. And as you can see, this stuff is so sticky. I normally end up sticking myself. And you don't have to take this washi tape off, but I always do. But it would not make a difference if you just left it on there. And you don't have to use the good washi tape like I used, but that was what was closest to me, so that's what I used. Okay, now I'm just going to bring these pieces over. And then I'm going to put another piece down the center again. And I apologize for that noise. I know it's loud. You hear my dogs complaining about it. Okay. You can see how sticky the stuff is. Ugh. And if you don't have Tyvek tape, you can use anything, even just a small strip of fabric down the spine. It will help give it some stability and support. So now you can see the base of our journal is already there. So I'm going to put this to the side for now. I'm going to set this back over there. And I have already picked out some papers. And I normally use 7 different 12 by 12 sheets. 1 for the cover, 1 for the inside, and then 5 for the envelopes. And so I'm using this for my cover. I'm going to use this for my inside. And then these 5 will be my envelopes. Now on my cover, I want to have about 1 inch clearance all the way around. And so since this is 4.5 and 4.5, which is 9, and then we have another 1.5 inches plus that, so we can say another 2 inches, so it's 11. So we're not going to quite have 1 inch all the way around on the side here. So I don't cut the side, and then what I do is I cut the top at 9 inches, because that gives 1 inch here, 7 inches here, and then 1 inch here. So let me get my little cutting board. I have bought new cutters. I bought some really super nice cutters, but for some reason I always tend to go back to this one. This is my, I think this was the first one I got. But this is just my Old Faithful. Okay, so that's my cover. Now let me see what my inside needs to be. And I don't want it all the way to the edge, but I want it close. So it's at 10.5. So I'm gonna do it about 10.25, maybe a little bit more. And then I know it's 7, so I can do about 6 3/4. Okay. So I said 10.25, or a little more maybe. Maybe like 10 3/8. Okay, and that's my width. And then if it's 7 inches tall, I don't want it quite at that, so I'm going to do 6 3/4. So this is my inside. And I'm going to put this up for just a minute because I'm going to go ahead and cover it first. Now, I do like to round the corners of my inside. This is just personal preference. Again, if it's not something that you like, you don't have to do this. I like it, so I'm going to set that to the side. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use the score tape as well as Fabri-Tac. I just kind of like the way I just feel a little bit safer with it like that. So I'm just going to go right along the edge here, and I'm going to fill to where that spine starts. All right, now I use this little, I don't know what it's called. I call it my little pokey tool. I got these from Dollar Tree. I got 2 of them in a pack for $1, and they work wonderful. Big time. And put these in my little trash can I have right over here. All right, now let's hope my glue is not all dried up because I haven't used it in a few days. And so this is just Fabri-Tac. And I'm just going in between where the tape is. That's all I'm doing. It feels like it's wanting to act crazy with me, but I'm gonna have to show it who's boss. And then this is where it gets crazy difficult, is right through here. But, and again, the tape's gonna hold it, so it really is not a big deal if I don't get the glue everywhere, but you know, for my sanity, or trying to have sanity. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna very gently flip this over, and I'm gonna try to center it as best I can. Okay, and that's about as good as it's gonna get as far as getting centered. And then where is my little scraper tool that I like? I'll use the bone folder. I normally have a little yellow thing in here that I use. That there it is. It's actually for epoxy for working on cars. Because I got it at Harbor Freight. I got a pack of them, and I love it because it's firm but flexible at the same time, and it just works so good. All right, so I just wanted to make sure I had that glue all spread out. Now, the next thing I need to do is I need to trim the corners here. And I'm just gonna, I was looking for a smaller pair of scissors, but, and I'm just trimming it at an angle. And now I am going to take those little pieces that I just pulled off, or just cut off, and I'm going to glue them onto the inside cover there. So that way, if my seams don't meet, it's not as big of a deal, because you'll still be able to see paper, the blue paper there. I'm sorry, I'm getting off screen gluing that. I did not realize it. We'll have to get back in the hang of these videos. Man, go on a week and I forget everything. And I was gonna do a video earlier today when I first got home, And we had to get my third son had been keeping my German wire hair pointer, but it had got to where she, you know, wasn't getting along with the shepherds out there, and so we had to get her back. And we went out there last night and got her and brought her home. Well, and she's trained very, very, very well. And when I got home from work this afternoon, I went out and I took her to the bathroom. And she jumps up on the bed as soon as she come back in the bedroom. And she looked so cute. And I'm like, okay, I'll snuggle her for a few minutes, you know. I'll just a few minutes. Well, I woke up when my husband come walking through the door. Yeah, I don't know how long we were out, but it sure did feel good. So now I'm just going to put some of the score tape on the bottom here. Just like that. And I'm just going to go all the way around the perimeter of it. And that's all I'm doing, and I can see that I've smoothed that a little bit. Okay. And now the next thing I want to do is I want to go around the edge of the covering here. And I probably should have used the 1/8 inch, but it'll be okay. And this is just my little, you know, my little added protection here. Just makes me feel better. Gives me peace of mind, which is an important thing. And that's the joy of the crafting and the journals and stuff, is you do what makes you happy, you do what you enjoy. Okay, so I'm just going back now and I'm just creasing this really good along the edge of the journal, the covers there. Just making sure I have everything lined up where it needs to go. Okay, and now that I have that, I do one side at a time. So I'll go ahead and do this side. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull this piece of tape backing off. And then I'm going to pull this piece of tape backing off, maybe. Okay. And then I am going to take my Fabri-Tac and I'm going to run it right along this edge here. I want to get it real good right there, and then a little bit there. All right, and then I'm going to fold this over, and I can see that this is going to be in the way a little bit. So I'm just going to try to pick this up real quick. And let me do the same on this side. Okay. And now just folding this over really good. All right. And there we go. That's good and done. That tape's holding it real good too. And now I'm going to do the same thing on this side. I think this one, I'm going to need to go ahead and fold it. So I'm just going to take the tape back off of the ends here. All right, and then I'm going to get a Fabri-Tac. And just put some down. And then just fold this over. And there we go. That's looking good. Now we can go to this side here. And so I'm just going to go ahead and finish pulling that off. And I need to pull this one off. with my Fabri-Tac. Just put a little bit all over it. And then again, I'm just pushing it up against it really good. And then squeezing it down. And then I just need to do this side. Yep, I just got to do this side here, and then let me put you on hold 1 second and refill my Fabri-Tac. Okay, I'm back. I just wanted to refill my Fabri-Tac bottle because it does make it easier when it's full. Alright, so I'm just doing it right along the edge again really good, and then some up it through there. And then the same thing, I'm just going to fold it over really good. Okay, and so as you can see, there is our journal cover. And there shouldn't be any cracking with the way that we've done it. I'm just checking to make sure. Okay. Now, the next thing we need to do is to put this on. And so how I'm going to do that is I am actually going to set this to the side, and we're going to do the score tape on this. Okay, now that we've got that done, I just need to get my cover back out. And because this, the inside cover, it doesn't matter what's up or down. It doesn't matter on how I have my cover. So now I'm going to do the same thing and try to center it up as best as I possibly can. And then I'm just going to get my little scraper tool and scrape it all in again, just like I did before. Okay. And so there we have it. I'm going to really scrape it down right through here. And then I'm going to let it dry before I really go bending it too much. Okay, so now I'm just going to set this to the side. You can see this is our cover, and this is our inside. So I'm going to set that to the side. Put my Fabri-Tac out of the way for now. Put all this stuff in the garbage. And now I need to work on my envelopes. Okay, and so my envelopes, the size that I need my envelopes to be is 8 3/8 by 8 3/8. So that's all I'm going to do right now is just cut these at 8 3/8 by 8 3/8. And so just set that to the side. And then this is the papers that I use to embellish the journals with. I don't throw them away. And normally I can use up all 7 sheets of a 12 by 12 by doing it this way. So I really don't have a lot of scraps or leftovers from it, which is always a good thing. Because I'm the world's worst. And I need to be doing Melina's scrap busters challenges again. Because I really do have tons of scraps. Even with me being able to use all of that up, I still end up with, you know, it's my other projects that I work on that, I don't know, I just haven't got it figured out how to use it all. One day, maybe. When I grow up, I want to be just like Miss Edith. Which I'll never grow up, apparently. I would say like my bestie Chelle, but me and her is on the same level at art right now, so yeah. Yep, my bestie. And that's Chelle over at the Ramblin Crafters, my buddy. And I do have to admit, she beat me for probably a week on saying good morning. Yeah, but, you know, what could I do? Not much I could do, just had to deal with it. All right, so I'm going to take these, and I'm just going to set these to the side for now, because we will be using those. Then I'm going to get a little trusty little envelope maker out. And I already have mine because I make so many of these. I already have it to where I know, but it's at like 3 1/8 is my first punch. And then, you know, you just have to set it on the ridge there, but I've even got it marked over there where it needs to go, because it's just easier for me. And so you can do any size. Just look at what size envelope you have or what size envelope you want to use. And so you can make these journals any size you want to. I do have a video on here where I've made a couple little mini journals the exact same way. So I'm probably going to speed up for the rest of this part. Okay, and now that I've got that done, we'll move on to the next part. But one thing I do like to do is on my journals, on the envelopes, you see I have this little closure here. That's what I'm going to use this for. And so I need to grab my cutting board, and I need to cut 5 of those. I don't need that out. And I normally do those about 3/4 of an inch. And that's plenty to, it gives me plenty to tuck the flap down in. So I just need to do 5 of them. I should have already done those because, well, I had the cutting board out originally, but you know, just wasn't thinking. Not at all. Okay, so now I have those. And I do want to round the corners. I use the little quarter inch rounder. And I think I'm going to try and do all the other 4 together because this is going to take too long. We'll see. We'll know if I made a boo-boo or not in just a minute. Well, it done it. See, sometimes you just gotta go with it. Okay. Now, let me move this out of the way. Now, the next thing I like to do is I like to go ahead and get my envelopes, and I like to fold them. And I like to really burnish the folds down. So I'm going to do that to all of them. And it's just so that when I put it in the journal, it's not going to be quite as bulky. Just 2 more to do like that. And probably what we'll do tonight is just get the envelopes prepared, and then tomorrow's video I will show you how I sew the envelopes in and decorate. Okay, so now that I have that done, the next thing that I always do is I stack my envelopes up together, and I just make sure that they're all the same size, because, you know, sometimes it does happen, you know, especially when you're crazy like me. And so now I just need to go through on each one, and I need to cut this off some, and I try to go straight. Sometimes I'm not very straight. Hopefully I'm not getting too close on the camera. I just realized that I probably was. So I'm trying to do it lower. Okay. Now, the other thing that I do like to do is I like to put a piece of Tyvek in my envelope here, just because I am going to be sewing into it, And this can get a little tricky at times because I don't need a whole piece of Tyvek. It doesn't really need to be that long either. Just long enough for my 3 seams to go through it. So I'm going to attempt this. This is what I normally do, and I know I'm off camera screen. I'm just going to try and cut this in like thirds, possibly. Y'all should see this. I'm trying to stay on camera, but it's hard. Okay, so now I'm just, well, see, that's what I say. It gets tricky. So I'm just going to put this down right there with a piece of my hair. Or can't have nobody having my DNA. They might want to clone me. Man, that would be a rough place, a rough thing. Chelle, could you imagine 2 of me in the world? All right, and so that one's done. And I'm sure there has to be an easier way to do this, but this is just what works for me. So it just gives me that little added peace of mind that when I'm poking the holes in, I'm not going to be ripping the paper to where, you know, it's going to rip even more at some point. And so this one I only need to cut in 2 pieces. But even at that, it's still difficult cutting it even in 2 pieces because this stuff is so sticky. And I always tear the first one. Always. Without fail. Oh my God, y'all look, I'm all taped up. Oh my goodness. This stuff is so sticky. It's crazy. But it's good, which is why I use it. Okay, and then I just have this one. All right, that didn't go as bad as it has in the past. So that should let you know how bad the past has been before when it comes to this stuff. Yeah, I've been all taped up in it before. And again, I just want to burnish it down real good because that'll make it stick out. So that's all I'm doing right now. Okay, so now I want to get my the 5 little pieces here. And I am going to use score tape to hold these down. And I think I'm going to use the 1/4 inch. So I can go ahead and do that on each of them. I'm just going to put it right there on the end. And then tear it. And I can do that ahead of time. And then once I get done with this part, we will go ahead and stop for the night. And then tomorrow I will come back and we will sew the envelopes in. And I'll show you how I do that. And I don't know the proper term for what I think. I want to say it's the saddle stitch, but I don't know if that's correct or not. I use the three holes. I have done some with more, but that one seems to work pretty good. So, all right. Now that I've got that on there, what I do is I find my little pokey tool. I'm going to pull these off. Or try to. Alright, and then I'm just going to take it and I'm going to kind of line it up as best as I can to where it's in the center, and there we go. So I'm just going to do that with the rest of these. And this score tape is some sticky stuff too. Man. I could have used some of this to stick my youngins to the wall sometimes when they were growing up. Not that I would do that. I'm kidding. But it is a nice thought sometimes. Of course, all of my kids were taller than me by the time they were 5, so they probably would have ended up sticking me to the wall with it. Because they seem to think it is cute that their mommy is so short. They make so much fun of me. All the time. But it is what it is. At least I have tall children. I have, right now, I think 3 or maybe 4 of them are over 6 feet. Yeah, I'm not even 5 foot. It's crazy. Crazy, crazy. All right. So the envelopes are not glued together yet. That's the last thing we'll do with the envelopes. But there we have it. This is the base for our envelope journal. And we can go ahead and do this. And as you can see, I don't know the order that these will go in yet, but this is how it will look. So there we go. Thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate it, and I will see you guys in tomorrow's video.